Hello, Pisces. Here is your reading for the week of March 5th through about the 11th. These are general. Take what works, and what doesn't work just doesn't work. But let's see what the cards have to say for you. In your recent past position, you have the Page of Cups. In your current energy, you have the Four of Swords. In your near future position, you have the High Priestess. Your challenge for the week is the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And what is recommended for you is the Seven of Pentacles. So I think in your recent past, with the Page of Cups, I see him as somebody that has a dream and they're trying to figure out how to make their dream into reality. The pages are students. They could represent news, but it also is, I see him as a little bit of a dreamer. He has this idea and he's trying to figure out how to make it into a reality. And this is what he wants out of life. So you might have had some kind of dream or situation that really has your heart involved in it, something that you really want to do, and you might have been trying to figure out how to make it work. I always see him as somebody that dreams big, but with him, he always has to now figure out the next step is actually making that a practical situation, like something that you can actually achieve. But I think it's very important to have dreams because that's like the seed. That's a seed for ideas moving forward. So I think that's really great. I think you had some kind of seed planted in your brain. Now, the Four of Swords represents in your current energies that you're taking a little bit of a break. You might need some rest right now. Sometimes I get this when I'm feeling a little sick and I just need to take a moment, or I'm feeling a little drained and I just need a little bit rest and relaxation for myself. So this could also indicate that currently things are a little bit more at peace in your life. So take that however it works. But I think you're taking a little bit of a moment where things are maybe not being as stressful, or you're just taking a little bit of a break away from stuff because you just need a little you time right now. But what's coming in for you is the High Priestess, and she represents like really tapping into your intuition. So I think with whatever this is, whatever dream or idea this is, I think you intuitively know that it's really good for you, that's like meant for you. So you have to kind of listen to your intuition. Like sometimes in the practical sense, something may not look good on paper or may not make full sense to us, but our intuition keeps telling us to keep going after it. Although it's like, how is this going to work? It's, everything's almost set up against you or whatever. But I think something in your gut is telling you to move forward with this situation. And I think you need to move forward with this situation. So listen to your intuition. And I think you will be, because she's here and she's just saying that you have to go with your gut. Like if you have this gut feeling that you're going to make this work, whatever this is for you, go with your gut. Because I feel like this is more tapped into kind of higher sources and maybe our spirit guides, like something is just meant for us. It's going to be putting you on the right path of your destiny. So I think this is really positive. Now with the Page of Pentacles reversed here, this is saying that you may not be really doing what you need every day to get this done, because he represents a little bit more the practical applications of things. He's still a student, so he's still learning, he's still troubleshooting, but in the reverse, it's like you're just not really putting in the effort that you really need to. And for whatever reason, that could be because you're taking a break currently. Now, this could be a break. Sometimes we need that R&R. We need that rest and relaxation. We need that mental moment to be like, I'm stepping away from this for right now and I'm going to get back to it. But the important thing is to not just put something on hold and never get back to it. So I think your challenge will be to either figure out a way that you can do this without it affecting you negatively, without it draining you. Maybe there's certain ways that you can kind of subcategorize things or kind of break things up where it's a little bit easier on you. But I think your challenge is to now get a routine, because I also see him as somebody who has like the routine, like the best routine figured out. So your challenge also is to kind of get a routine going where it's manageable, where you're still learning, you're able to kind of play with this idea, try to troubleshoot this idea, but have it where it's even if it's a side hustle or something, have it where it's not all consuming and not wearing you out. But sometimes you do need to have a moment. Sometimes we all need to take a break a second. Now with the Seven of Pentacles, this is what's recommended for you. I think this is saying stick with it. See, the Seven of Pentacles, this guy is growing these pentacles and it's taking a lot longer than he would like. It's taking its time. But anytime you grow something, it takes time. Like we don't plant seeds and then all of a sudden tomorrow they're like a full blooming plant bearing fruit. It takes time, and depending on the seed that you're planting, might take years. So this is just saying sometimes you can kind of cut corners. There might be some corners that you can cut or things that you can go about a little bit differently, like add some fertilizer to something to kind of help it grow a little quicker. But it also represents that patience, putting that effort into something, nurturing something, and just knowing that it just takes time. Sometimes that's half the battle, is just like knowing and reminding yourself like, okay, I'm doing this again. I'm seeing some progress, but it's taking its time, but it's just going to take time. So this might be you needing to remind yourself that whatever your efforts are you're putting into this dream or whatever this is for you, it's going to take time, and it is what it is. And you just have to go through the steps and you have to stick with it. And eventually it will get to be what you want it to be, but it's just going to take time. And sometimes this reminds you, like, take a look if there's a little bit of a shortcut or an easier way to do about something to kind of help this not be as like boring, but it just takes time. So, okay, let's see what other cards we get for you. Okay, first up we have Sandpiper Spirit, be playful. And I think because with the Page of Pentacles reversed, he's a little bit dealing with the grind. He might just not be really into it because he's still learning. So he has to figure things out. And sometimes it's annoying as hell when you're learning something, it's going to be useful. Like if you're learning a program, but it's a little bit more of a intricate technical program, it's going to help you. It does amazing things and it's going to be so beneficial for you. But when you're learning about it, it's annoying as hell. At least for me, I'm always like, oh my God, I just want to know this already. So sometimes the learning aspects of stuff, because you're troubleshooting, you're screwing things up, maybe it doesn't come as easy initially, you have to play around with it. It's time consuming. It could be a little bit of a frustrating phase, but it's going to be good in the end. But I think you need to, if you're going through some of these like nitty gritty initial foundation level, creating a foundation, building blocks, of learning experiences or figuring this aspect out or building upon this, sometimes it's annoying. But I think you need to come at this playful, because maybe if you put a little bit of this playful energy, whatever feels a little bit dry and stale, because the Page of Cups, he has a dream, but his dream is the final outcome. His dream is everything that he sees. He's not actually seeing in his dream all the practical components of reality of what needs to be to get to that dream. So he's seeing the end goal. He's seeing all the great things. He's not sitting there and being like daydreaming about the obstacles and all the crap that's going to happen, that's going to be frustrating. He doesn't see that. He's like, oh, this is going to be so great. This is going to be amazing. This is how it's going to be. But to put that actually now into a practical situation is much, much different. So I think with the Page of Pentacles now reversed, this is the one who's actually seeing the daily steps or the actual foundations and the levels and the different components that are going to need to be involved. So you might be in this moment where you're now actually starting to get to the nitty gritty to figure out how to create this. And I think it's going to be good for you in the end and it's going to work. But this is not quite the fun energy, and neither is the Seven of Pentacles. You're seeing some growth, you're learning certain things, but it's slow going. So I think within all this, and that could wear us out. So you might be feeling a little worn out right now because you're in this process, this building phase. You might be seeing the house at the end, but you are now in the process of putting those, like the 2x4s, nailing the sheetrock in and everything. So it's kind of one of those situations. So you just need to be playful. So if there's something that you could do to kind of bring a little bit fun back into your life, to kind of spark a little bit of that passion or that energy back in, I think that's a good idea because it'll help you for the long haul if you're still enjoying your life while you're trying to figure this out and create this thing that you want down the road. Now, Epidite, go deeper. Now, I'm thinking, I wonder if, because the High Priestess, now this is about intuition and everything, but I wonder if the go deeper with the Page of Pentacles in reversed and the Seven of Pentacles here, I wonder if there's another way you could go about something that you're not realizing or you need to learn that could help streamline some of this or make this go a little faster. So you might need to go deeper, or it might even be that you need to start whatever dream you're dreaming of, you might really need to start thinking about it even in the more of the practical aspects. Like, that could be part of the problem. Like, you know you have to do X, Y, and Z, but you may not know exactly how to even get to that point. And that could be a little bit of the holdup of why you're on, taking a break right now, because you're not really seeing the steps from like point A, B, all the way to X, Y, and Z. So I think you have to kind of maybe analyze the situation a little further, try to break it down into more pieces that are more manageable and easier for you to actually conduct every day. It's going to take time. I think this is definitely saying be aware that, it's a process. It's definitely a process, and you're going to have to nurture it. But I think you might have to figure out some of the finer details, because some of this might be the little bit of frustrations of trying to get there. Like, it's going to work, but you might need to be like really, I don't say micromanaging the details, but you might need to even be breaking the details down up even further and figuring out a way to better streamline this situation. Now, healing heart, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationships or addictions. And now some of these addictions could be even a little bit of that devil energy of that fun, drug, sex, and rock and roll type of thing. Not necessarily that that's the addiction, but sometimes we squander time on things that really don't need our time. And you might have to kind of now, if you're feeling a little bit worn out, you might need to reevaluate your days and how you're spending time and restructure things. And things that aren't serving you, you might need to either cut them out, get rid of them, or just in a sense heal or just restructure how you're doing it. Because I think this is something that you really want to do, and I think it's going to be good for you. But I think you're in this beginning stages in a sense of trying to figure out how to even make it work, how to attain it. And that's going to cause you to grow. You're going to wind up really growing and transforming through this process. So that's fantastic. Forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. And I think this is something that you need to heal from. Maybe there were certain obstacles or setbacks that you experienced in the past and you're concerned that it's going to happen again. So you just need to take those as learning lessons and kind of heal from them, and just all you could do is try. All you could do is try to make the next situation much better. And release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. Now, this could be a person that you're releasing, or it could just be old ways of doing stuff, like old habits that just don't work for you anymore. Freedom from toxic stuff, something you might need to be letting go of stuff that isn't working for you or draining you or not really relevant to the betterment of you, in a sense. Okay, let's see what quote we get for you. Obstacles are opportunities in disguise. And honestly, anytime you hit against some obstacle, and they're all over the place, you can walk out to your mailbox and hit up against some obstacles. They're just running around everywhere. But it's always an opportunity to learn from something. Some of these are hard lessons. I know. Some of them are very hard lessons. But you learn, you get a little wiser, and sometimes you grow a little thicker skin. Because whatever dream this is, I'm telling you right now, unless you go through some of the nitty-gritty pain in the rear end details, you are going to be a different person from the day you decided you wanted to try this dream out, the day you conceived this dream, created this dream. You're going to be a different person from that day versus the day that the dream actually is a reality. So it's a process. And unless you go through that process, you may not even be ready to actually have that dream, because you're going to hit up against obstacles, and either you're going to let it shake you and deter you from getting what you want in your life, or you're going to be like, you know what, I'm rolling through this and I'm doing this. This is what I want. But sometimes those obstacles are even lessons to realize that what we wanted initially is not actually what we really want. So it's a fluid situations. But within that, then that's an opportunity putting you on the better way. Maybe you had a dream and you're like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this. Like, I did real estate for a little while. I went through the whole test. I passed everything, whatever. I got in there thinking, because I really like houses and I really find all that really interesting. And I got in there thinking it was one kind of way. And I quickly realized that this is not the field for me. It's very cutthroat. People throw each other under the bus all the time. I am not that type of person. I am not a person that's going to easily kiss somebody's ass either. Like, I am not the one. Like, I'm not doing that. I am very respectful to people's properties. You would have to show people houses who were completely disrespectful to the property. And that stuff irks me because it's like, you could do that in your own house that you own, but you can't be coming into somebody else's house and doing that. But anyway, I digress. So, and I realized the industry in itself is just not what I am. Like, I am not cut out for that. Like, I'm not going to throw my coworker under the bus or something for, like, I'm just not that one. It wasn't for me. But I spent a lot of time, money getting that license, getting myself set up to only realize that I hated it. This sucked. This is absolutely not what I wanted to do. So to me, although I took it as a failure in a sense because I did put a lot of time and money into that, I realized, you know what? This is not going to work out for me. It's not what I like. This is not who I am. And I would have only realized that if I did it. I'm telling you, if I never actually went through that whole process, I would have always thought, oh, maybe I could have been a great real estate agent. Maybe that was the career I should have done. But going through that, I realized, no, this is not it. This ain't it. This is not it for me. This is good for somebody else. There's fantastic real estate agents out there. Very great. I'm not dissing the thing or whatever, but it was just not for me. People were just pissing me off left and right. And I was like, this is not it. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm not about this. There was a lot of drama to it. Maybe it was just the office that I was in, but it was just not a good situation. I was like, I just can't with all this. This is a mess. This is a big mess over here, and I got to get the hell out. So, but that situation made me realize, like, this is just not it. This is not what I was meant to do. And I'm not going to be good at this because I can't even pretend. So that was an opportunity in disguise for me to now realize, like, my boundaries and what works for me. So life is one big learning lesson. It's a lot of troubleshooting. But anyway, let me move on. So now for your affirmation card, we have, today I make a difference. Today I will stay focused, work hard, and do my very best at everything I do. I think this is you reminding yourself of this because you might be taking a break, but this break, you might need it. But don't forget to now, after this is done, like, get back to what you were doing because you can do this. And let's see what Bob Ross has to say for you. This is a happy place. Little squirrels live here and play. And I think you just need to create your happy place. And maybe this dream of yours is your happy place, but obviously it has some reality has to be injected into it. But I think this is also saying that you could be playful because you got a lot of playful stuff here. And if you're creating something from scratch in a sense, like, you are the master of your own destiny and you can kind of create it how you want it to be. So I think that's super positive. Now let's see what spirit of the dish will be with you this week. You have the spirit of the beginning, which is the spirit of the egg. So for your dinner and a movie, you did comedy movies and Mexican food you have. And then for the energies that you either need to tap into or be aware of, you have Cancer, which is about emotions and habits, and Aquarius, which is about independence and eccentricity. And Aquarius is a little bit like outside the box thinkers as well. You have Neptune, which is about vision, creativity, and illusions. And you have the Moon, which is also about emotions and habits. So I think some of these, with the Neptune here, some of these things might be like your dreams and your visions, but you need to make sure that you're not like deceiving yourself in a sense. And you have to watch your emotions or whatever because you have like the Moon and Cancer here. But Aquarius, it's about coming at things a little differently. So you might need to come at something a little different. And you have 2 first houses, which represents appearance, ego, and the interests and the self. So appearance, ego, the interests, and the self. And you have the number 4 here, which is an even number. So that means the special guest that will be answering your questions, Pisces, shortly will be the Magic 8 Ball. So think of those questions. You have S, R, B, O, H, S, I, U, and you have 857052. And you have dream. So I think this is really something that you're kind of dreaming of, that you're trying to create, which is fantastic. Now let's see what little charmy we get for you. And you have the lollipop. Now what does the lollipop say to me? You know what? Like when you suck on this lollipop, it dissolves. So I think it would be getting more focused at that point, right? So you might be starting something and it might seem really, really big and you're not really sure where to start or how to make this work. But the more you are active with it, I don't want to say the smaller and smaller it gets, but the amount of problems potentially you could have in creating this, I'm not saying they get smaller either, because that's not it, but you're now honing your skill and you're streamlining the situation. So the lollipop, the more you suck on it, you're like streamlining the lollipop and you're making it really small until you consume the lollipop fully. So I think this is saying that even though the situation might seem a little bit big and you might not be sure like where to start licking first or whatever, if you keep licking, eventually you're going to get to the center of this thing. That's what I get. Take that how that resonates. Okay, let's see. It's time now. Let's see what our special guest has to say for your question. Okay, here he is. Think of your questions, Pisces, and here we go. Oh, Mr. Predicto, the most accurate fortune teller that's ever run off of batteries, what is the answer to Pisces' question?
Ask later when the time is right.
Oh, he's been like this all week. He said, ask later when the time is right. Mr. Predicto has not wanted to really answer questions this week. I think he's just having a moment himself, or he's just being super mysterious, or I don't even know. I think the Magic 8 Ball has had a lot of time this week. He's, the universe has chosen the Magic 8 Ball. So now I think Mr. Predicto is kind of pissy with that, and he's like being a little bit however. But what can you do? These celebrities, it is whatever it is. But at the end of the day, Mr. Predicto is a man of many words, and those were the words he chose here to speak today, Pisces. So maybe ask again next week, but this week is not a great time to ask. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.